talking about is the performance management. So on our performance management, we have a part whereby you can create your assessment. So I click on performance, and then I have an assessment circle that's been created in here. The first one is the assessment circle that belongs to a set of committee, and then the other one belongs to everyone. So to create assessment on NotchHR is quite simple as well. Okay, I'll give you Victoria has reviewed the payroll. So that's what I was talking about for the payroll. Now, the first stage of assessment circle is select who will conduct the assessment. Do you want the manager to conduct the assessment, or you want it to be a committee? For the committee, for each employee, a group of employees will be selected to form a committee for the assessment. So you can either pick a committee or a manager. So I'm picking the manager, and then some question weights to get supervisor assessment score. This will use weight of options set by you to score the employee. If not, supervisor will manually score the employee. So you can either click check this or uncheck. Employee will comment before supervisor submits. Do you want your employee to have access to comment on what the supervisor has assessed? So you can either toggle, you can check or not. So I click on next. And then the next part is, when should we start this assessment cycle? Should it be on a fixed date, or it should be on an higher date? So you input your date where you want the assessment to start. So if it's by higher date, probably you have new employees, you can start to the higher date. But if you want it to be a fixed date, you can fix it for all employees as well. So your assessment cycle, you give it a name. I'll be giving my notch. So I give my assessment notch. And who is the assessment for? It is for all employees. So you can either make it for some employees or for employee, whichever way you do it in your organization. So I click on next. Now for the next part is inbox and email reminder will be sent to managers to request feedback about their employees. So when do you want a mail reminder to be sent out to your managers? So you can pick a date, March 25th. How often do you want this your manager to be prompted? Is it every 3 months, like every quarter, every 6 months, or a year? So you can either pick any of the two. So I pick 3 quarter, and then these are all the reminder time: March, June, September. Now below are the question will ask for feedback about the employee. The employee receiving the feedback will not see any of the feedback left for them, because we've unchecked that first part that says employee would have access to comment under their manager's assessment. So I click on next, and then the next part is assessment schedule. When do you want your assessment to start? I want my assessment to start on the let's just say April 1st, and I want the assessment to end April 6th. So how often should the manager be prompted? Still 3 months. Now NotchHR already have some selected questions in here for your employees. So self-assessment for your employee: how well does the company recognize my value? So this is what they get to see. But if you are not comfortable with with this question in here, you can input your questions as well. So add a custom question. You can add your own custom question and make it either option, or you can make it text, whichever way. So I input option, and then my question is, what's just for example, what do you want? So that's my question for self. So for the employee, for the supervisor, do you want rice? Just for example. So I input a question. You can add any question that you want to input your assessment in here, and then you input the options. Okay, so after that, you input your option. What's the first option? A, what do you want? Yam, you enter. B, rice, enter. Beans, enter. Bread, enter. So your please enter key like maximum options to be 5. Noodles, enter. And then for the supervisor, do you want rice? Yes, enter. No, enter. Maybe, enter. Probably, enter. I don't know, enter. Um, kinda, enter. So now if you notice when I click on enter, it is not entry because it has passed the amount of options I'm meant to input. So here are the options I've inputted, and then I add question. So what do you want? This is a self-assessment. Do you want rice and all? So that's it for the assessment part. You can allow file upload, or you don't need a file upload. So allow file upload in terms of when your employees are inputting their self-assessment, they can also upload a file to back up their self-assessment. Same with the supervisor as well. So I don't want a file upload. I just want to click on next. Now I click on save circle. So that's the assessment I just created. Now, because I just created this notch, I can also edit the assessment as well. I can decide to change it to a committee assessment, not manager. So after this assessment has been done, I want to go to the employees part to assess an employee. So I will be using let me use Dauda Ore as an example. Yes. So I click on Dauda Orelua and I click on assessment for Dauda. So I can request Dauda manager to assess Dauda. But I need to make sure there is an assessment circle that is in there. So because I am requesting Dauda manager to assess her, I can click on any of the assessment circle I want Dauda to input. So let me just click on notch, and then I add a supervisor because there's no supervisor in there. So I go back to access. I want to access her for access Dauda now. I want to access her now. So I'm clicking on access Dauda, and then I'm clicking on notch. So this is the assessment for my supervisor. Dauda will not say any answer to the question with icon. If Dauda or Olua gets a job offer elsewhere, I would what? Will you do everything I could to keep Dauda? You click on your answer. So whichever answer you have for Dauda, the supervisor gets to input what he or she wants for the employee. So how engaged is Dauda or Olua at work? You input your answers. So this part is just for the supervisor to add their assessment on the employees. How well does Dauda do? Well, better, better. How could Orelua improve? Salary increase. So I'm just using all this as an example. Do you want rice? I don't know. So I don't know is like your best score, the fifth maximum. If I pick, do you want rice? Yes. You can see the score is 1. And then I get to recommend for what she wants, the promotion. But if I pick on I don't know, there are other recommendation under I don't know, salary increase and promotion. So I click on salary increase. So how do you want Dauda to see Oh, sorry. When do you want the other to see this assessment? So you can as well pick a date when you want the other to see the assessment, and then you submit. So I click on submit. So I just created an assessment for Dauda. So that's how assessment is being done on Notch HR. You can as well see the total report for the employee. So this is the total report in here for the supervisor or manager. And I want to switch to employees view. So you also get to switch to employees view to see it. So for the recommendation, whosoever is in charge of approval recommendation, he or she gets to approve if Dauda is in need of a salary increase, or if Dauda should get a salary increase or not. So we have another part whereby you can unlock your assessment. Bless me. So you can unlock and then you can lock. So that's it on the assessment part on Notch HR. So we also have the goal settings. Okay, yeah, we also have a part whereby you can request for feedback from Dauda's colleagues. If you want your employees to be in charge of the assessment, you can request Dauda peer to assess Dauda. You select the employee that you want to assess, you send a request. A mail will be sent out to Victoria to assess Dauda. So after a mail has been sent out to Victoria, let me quickly check my mail for the assessment. So I want to check my new feedback request. Victoria, Akibin Victoria has requested you to complete a feedback for colleague Dauda. You have 15 days to complete this feedback. So a mail will be sent out to the colleague to complete feedback on their colleague. So that's it for the feedback part. I'm going back to the part whereby your employee can also have access to create goal settings. Oh, sorry, I clicked on dashboard. So I'm going back to Dauda Orelua, and then I click on goals. So you can create new goals for your employee. So goals objective, your due date, short description, attach file. If you want to share it with other people as well or other employees, you can as well share. You can add tags. How many tags? 1, 2, 3, 4. As many tags as you want, and then you create goals. So that's how goals is being created on Notch HR performance management. So that's basically it on the performance management. Would also appreciate some questions in regards to that after this recording section. So I'm moving on to the next feature, which is the attendance